Sudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtabhraeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 6, Maharaj Parikshit passes away, text 32 onwards. Param padam vaishnavam amananti tadyanneti neti iti dut sisrikshabha visrijya doratmyam ananya sohrida hridopaguya vasatsitam samahita. Those who desire to give up all that is not essentially real move systematically by negative discrimination of the extraneous to the supreme position of Lord Vishnu. Giving up petty materialism, they offer their love exclusively to the supreme, to the absolute truth within their hearts and embrace that highest truth in fixed meditation. So little technical verses and technical commentary. The words yan neti neti atit utsisrikshava indicate the process of negative discrimination, by which one engaged in the search for essential and absolute truth systematically rejects all that is superfluous, superficial, and relative. So this is what Janmeja is saying after he was asked to stop the animal, to stop the snake sacrifice. So then he said, well, yeah, Maya takes over, then he stops, and then he's praying. So throughout the world, people have gradually rejected the ultimate validity of political, social, and even religious truth because they lack Krishna consciousness, they remain bewildered and cynical. However, as clearly stated here, Param Padam Vaishnavam Amanandi. Those who actually desire perfect knowledge must not only reject the non-essential, but must also ultimately understand the essential spiritual reality called Param Padam Vaishnavam. So just leaving material is not good enough. One has to understand what is the supreme reality that we have to get attached to. Because everything else is, we can say, it's Maya, it's covered by Maya. So slowly, one who is in knowledge, he comes to this understanding that this is not it, this is not it, this is not the supreme, but what is the supreme? That's what one has to understand. The supreme destination, the abode of Lord Vishnu. Padam indicates both the status and the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which can be understood only by those who give up petty materialism and adopt the position of Ananya Sohridam, exclusive love for the Lord. Such exclusive love is not narrow-minded or sectarian because all living entities being within the Lord are automatically served when one directly serves the Supreme Entity. This process of rendering the highest service to the Lord and to all living entities constitutes the science of Krishna consciousness, which is taught throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. Ta etat adigachanti vishnuriyat paramam padam aham mameti dorjanyam na yesham dehagehajam. Such devotees come to understand the supreme transcendental situation of the personality of God, Lord Vishnu, because they are no longer polluted by the concepts of I and my, which are based on body and home. Ativada stitiksheta nava manyeta kanchana na chemam deham ashritya bairam kurvita kenachvit. One should tolerate all insults and never fail to show proper respect to any person. Avoiding identification with the material body, one should not create enmity with anyone. Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Krishnaya Kuntamedase Yat Padam Buruha Dhyanat Samhitam Adhyagamimam. I offer my obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the invincible Lord Sri Krishna. Simply by meditating upon his lotus feet, I have been able to study and appreciate this great literature. So this is spoken by Suta Goswami. Shri Shonak Uvacha, Pehla Devir Vyasa Shishyar, Vedacharyar Mahatma Bhi, Vedash Kathita Vyasta, Etat Somya Videhina. Because, so Shukdev Goswami left, Parikshit Maharaj died. So that assembly is over, but this assembly at Naimisharanya is still going on. So Sud Goswami and Shonak Rishi is still there, and other 88,000 sages are still there. So Shonak Rishi is further asking question. O gentle Suta, please narrate to us how Pehla and the other greatly intelligent disciples of Srila Vyasadeva, who are known as the standard authorities of Vedic wisdom, spoke and edited the Vedas. Stutuvacha Samahitatmano Brahman Brahmana Parameshthina Hridyakashad Bhunado Vrittirodhad Vibhavyate. Sud Goswami said, O Brahman, first a subtle vibration of transcendental sound appeared from the sky of the heart of the most elevated Lord Brahma, whose mind was perfectly fixed in spiritual realization. One can perceive the subtle vibration when one stops all external hearing. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is a supreme Vedic literature, the sages headed by Shonak desire to trace out its source. So first, all the Vedic literature, the subtle vibration of transcendental sound appeared from the sky of the heart. From the sky means it came from Krishna himself into the heart of the most elevated Lord Brahma. Yadubasanaya Brahman yogino malamatmanan dravya kriya karakarkyam dhutva yanti apunarbhavam. By worship of this subtle form of Vedas of Brahman, mystic sages cleanse their hearts of all contamination caused by impurity of substance, activity, and doer, and thus they attain freedom from repeated birth and death. Tato abhut trivriddhonkaro yo avyakta prabhava swarat yatta lingam bhagavato brahmana paramatmana. From that transcendental subtle vibration arose the Omkar, composed of three sounds. The Omkar has unseen potencies and manifests automatically within a purified heart. It's a representation of the absolute truth in all three of its phases, the Supreme Personality, the Supreme Soul, and the Supreme Impersonal Truth. So this is Omkar or Om, and people just talk about Om, they think they know everything. It is a representation of the absolute truth in all of the three phases, Om. But then what is the difference between chanting Om and chanting Mahamantra, Nam? There's a huge difference. Om is a representation of absolute truth. Nam is non-different from Krishna, Nami. Shrinotiya imam sfotam supta shrotre cha shunya drik yena vag vyajyate yasya vyaktirakashatmana swadhamno brahmana sakshat vachaka paramatmana sa sarvat mantro upanishad veda bijam sanatanam. This Omkar, ultimately non-material and imperceptible, is heard by the Supersoul without his possessing material ears or any of the material senses. The entire expanse of Vedic sound is elaborated from Omkar, which appears from the soul within the sky of the heart. It is a direct designation of that self-originating absolute truth, the Supersoul, and is a secret essence, an eternal seed of all Vedic hymns. The senses of a sleeping person do not function until he has awakened. Therefore, when a sleeping person is awakened by a noise, one may ask, who heard the noise? The word supta, the word supta srotre in this verse indicate that the Supreme Lord within the heart hears a sound and awakens the sleeping living entities. The Lord's sensory activities always function on a superior level. Ultimately, all sounds vibrate within the sky, and in the internal region of the heart, there is a type of sky meant for the vibration of Vedic sounds. The seed or source of all Vedic sounds is Omkar. This is confirmed by Vedic statement, Om iti etad brahmano nedishtim now. The full elaboration of the Vedic seed sound is Srimad Bhagavatam, the greatest Vedic literature. So the source of all Vedic sounds, the seed or the source of all Vedic sounds is Omkar. Tasya hiya sansritriyo varna akaradya brigudvaha dharyanti yastriyo bhava guna namartha vrittaya. Omkar exhibited the three original sounds of the alphabet, A, U, and M. These three or most eminent descendants of Bhrigu sustain all the different threefold aspects of material existence, including the three modes of nature, the names of Rig, Yajur, and Samveda, the goals known as Bhur, Bhuvar, Swar, and Swar planetary systems, and the three functional platforms called waking consciousness, sleep, and deep sleep. So this Om just contains everything and sustains all the different aspects. Tato akshar tamam nayam asrijad bhagavan ajaha antasthoshma swaras harsha hirisva dirghadi lakshanam. From that Omkar, Lord Brahma created all the sounds of the alphabet, the vowels, consonants, semi-vowels, sibilants, and others, distinguished by such features as long and short measure. Tena so chaturo vedan chatur bhira vadanera vibhu savya hritikana so karansh chatur hotra vivakshaya. All-powerful Brahma made use of this collection of sounds to produce from his four faces the four Vedas, which appear together with the sacred Omkar in the 7 Vyahriti invocations. His intention was to propagate the process of Vedic sacrifice according to the different functions performed by the priests of each of the 4 Vedas. Uttarandhyapayattastu Brahma Rishina Brahma Kovidan Tetu Dharmopadeshtara Swaputrebhya Samadhishan. Brahma taught these Vedas to his sons who were great sages among the Brahmins and experts in the art of Vedic recitation. They in turn took the role of acharyas, imparted the Vedas to their own sons. Te paramparaya praptas tattachishyar dhritvrita chatur yugeshvata vyasta dvaparado maharshibhi. In this way, throughout the cycles of 4 ages, generation after generation of disciples, all firmly fixed in their spiritual vows, have received these Vedas by disciplic succession. At the end of each Dwapar Yuga, the Vedas are edited into separate divisions by eminent sages. So Vedas were received by the sages in disciplic succession. But at the end of Dwapar Yuga, at the end of each Dwapar Yuga, the Vedas are edited into separate divisions by eminent sages. Because in Kali Yuga, otherwise we cannot understand anything. And still we don't understand. That's a different story. Kshina Yusha Kshina Sattva Durmedhan Viksha Kalata Vedana Brahma Rashio Vyasyam Hridistha Chita Choditaha. Observing that people in general were diminished in their lifespan, strength, and intelligence by the influence of time, Great sages took inspiration from the personality of Godhead sitting within their hearts and systematically divided the Vedas. Asminapi antare Brahman Bhagavan lok bhavana Brahme shadyar lok paler yachito dharma guptaye Parasharat Satyavatyam Anshansha Kalaya Vipu Avatirano Mahabhaga Vedam Chakre Chaturvidam. O Brahman, in the present age of Vavasvat Manu, the leaders of the universe, led by Brahma and Shiva, requested the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the protector of all the worlds, to save the principles of religion. O most fortunate Shonak, the Almighty Lord, exhibiting a divine spark of a portion of his plenary portion, then appeared in the womb of Satyavati as a son of Parashar. In this form, named Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas, he divided the one Veda into 4. So Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas, or Ved Vyasi, this time his name is Krishna Dvaipayan. So he divided one Veda into 4. Rig Atharva Yaju Samnam Rashirudhritya Vargasha Chatasra Samhita Shakre Mandarar Maniganaiva. Srila Vyasadeva separated the mantras of the Rig, Atharva, Yajur and Sama Vedas into 4 divisions, just as one sorts out a mixed collection of jewels into piles. Thus he composed 4 distinct Vedic literatures. When Lord Brahma first spoke the 4 Vedas with his 4 mouths, the mantras were mixed together like an unsorted collection of various types of jewels. Srila Vyasadeva sorted the Vedic mantras into 4 divisions, samhitas, which thus became the recognizable Rig, Atharva, Yajur and Sama Vedas. Tasam jo chaturashityan upahuya mahamatihi ekekam samhita brahman ekekasme dado vihu. The most powerful and intelligent Vyasadeva called 4 of his disciples, the Brahman, and entrusted to each of them one of these 4 samhitas. Thailaya samhitamadhyam bharvu chakyam vachaha vaishampayan sangyaya nigadakhyam yajurganam samnam jaminaye praha tatha chandoga samhitam atharvangi rasim nama swashishyaya samantave. Srila Vyasadeva taught the first Samhita, Rig Veda, to Paila and gave this collection the name Bhavricha. To the sage Vaishampayana, he spoke the collection of Yajur mantras named Nigad. He taught the Samveda mantras designated the Chandoga Samhita to Jaimini, and he spoke Atharva Veda to his dear disciple Sumantu. Pehla Swasamhita Muche Indra Pramitaya Muni Bashkalaya Chaso Apyaha Shishebhya Samhitam Swakam Chaturdhavyasya Bodhyaya Yagyavalkyaya Bhargava Parasharaya Agnimitra Indra Pramitiratmavan Adhya Payat Samhitam Swam Mandukeyam Rishim Kabim Tasya Shishyo Deva Mitra Sobharyadya Dibhya Uchivan. After dividing his Samhita into 2 parts, the wise Paila spoke it to Indra Pramiti and Bashkal. Bashkal further divided his collection into 4 parts, Bhargav, and instructed them to his disciple Bodhya, Yagyavalkya, Parashar, and Agnimitra. Indra Pramiti, the self-controlled sage, taught his Samhita to the learned mystic Mandukeya, whose disciple Devamitra later passed down the divisions of Rig Veda to Sobhri and others. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, Mandukeya was the son of Indra Pramiti, from whom he received Vedic knowledge. Shakalyastat sutta swamtu panchadhavyasya samhitam vasyam udgal shalilya gokhalya shishireshvadhat. The son of Mandukeya named Shakalya divided his own collection into 5, entrusting one division each to Vatsya, Mudgal, Shalya, Gokhalya, and Shishira. This is also, it proves that these Vedas, they're not just some book work or something. They're coming down from Krishna to Brahmaji to these sages and further coming down. Not just some work, just somebody wrote it and that's it. Jatu karnyasya tatshishya saniruktam swasamhitam balakapaila jabala virijebhyo dado munihi. The sage Jatu Karnya was also a disciple of Shakalya. And after dividing the Samhita he received from Shakalya into 3 parts, he added a 4th section, a Vedic glossary. He taught one of these parts to each of 4 disciples, Balak, the second Paila, Jabal, and Viraja. Bashkali prati Shakhabhyo Valkhilyakya Samhitam Chakre Valaya Nirbhajya Kasharasya Chaivatam Dadu. Bhaskali assembled the Valkhilya Samhita collection from all the branches of Rig Veda. This collection was received by Valayani, Bhajya, and Kashar. So according to Srila Sridhar Swami, Valayani, Bhajya, and Kashar belong to the Daitya community. Barhucham Samhita Hieta Ebhir Brahmarshibhir Dhrita Shruta Vaitat Chandasam Vyasam Sarva Papa Pramuchyate. Thus, these various Samhitas of the Rig Veda were maintained through disciplic succession by these saintly Brahmins. Simply by hearing of this distribution of the Vedic hymns, one will be freed from all sins. Vaishampayan Shishya Vai Charakadhar Yavo Abhavan Yachero Brahmatyaha Kshapanam Swagurur Vratam. The disciples of Vaishampayana became authorities in the Yajurveda. They were known as the Charakas because they executed strict vows to free the Guru from his sin of killing a Brahman. Yagyavalkasya tachishya ahaho bhagvantya charte nalpa saranam charishya aham sudushcharam. Once Yagyavalkya, one of the disciples of Vaishampayan, said, "O Master, how much benefit will be derived from the feeble endeavors of these weak disciples of yours? I'll personally perform some outstanding penance." Iti yukto guru rapyaha upito yayalam tvaya viprava mantra shishena madadhitam tyajashviti. Addressing thus the spiritual master, Vaishampayana became angry and said, "Go away from here, enough of you, a disciple who insults Brahmins. Furthermore, you must immediately give back everything I've taught you." Sri Vaishampayan was angry because one of his disciples, Yagyavalkya, was insulting the other disciples, who were, after all, qualified Brahmins. Just as a father is disturbed when one son mistreats the father's other children, the spiritual master is very displeased. If a proud disciple insults or mistreats the Guru's other disciples. Devarat Sutta Soapi Charditva Yuditam Ganam Tato Gato Manyo Dadrushustan Yajur Guna Yajunshi Titira Bhutva Talolup Tat Yadaduhu Tatiriya Iti Yaju Shaka Asan Supeshala. Yagyavalkya, the son of Devarat, then vomited the mantras of the Yajurveda and went away from there. The assembled disciples looked greedily upon these Yajur hymns, assumed the form of partridges, and picked them all up. These divisions of the Yajurveda therefore became known as the most beautiful Taittiriya Samhita, the hymns collected by the partridges, or Titira. So partridges is Titira, or I guess it's something that comes out, or when we vomit. But since these were the Yajur hymns, they were very beautiful, it said. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, it is improper for a Brahmin to collect what has been vomited, and so the powerful Brahmin disciples of Vaishampayana assumed the form of Titiras, partridges, and collected the valuable mantras. Can you believe even mantras being vomited? I don't know. Yagyavalkyastato Brahman Chandansyadhi Gaveshayan Gurur Vidyamanani Supatasthe Akarmishwaram. My dear Brahman Shaunak Yagyavalkya then desired to find out Yajur mantras unknown to even his spiritual master. With this in mind, he offered attentive worship to the powerful Lord of the Sun. So we'll see what he offered to Lord Sun Lord tomorrow. We'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण माता।
प्रभु जी बैठ के आराम से पढ़ना।
क्या चीज?
बैठ के आराम से दोबारा पढ़ना का क्लास।
क्लियर नहीं है आपकी आवाज, में नहीं समझ पाया।
अच्छा एक मिनट, मुझे बैठ के ना दोबारा से पढ़ना पड़ेगा ये चैप्टर, तो ये वाला जो पार्ट है आज का, ये थोड़ा
ये तो है
और डिटेल में है प्रभु जी।
हाँ ये तो है
ना। और इसमें एक चरक का भी जिक्र आया, तो ये चरक ऋषि वही है जो आजकल आयुर्वेद में बड़ा उनका नाम चलता है, चरक ऋषि का? नहीं।
हाँ होने तो वही चाहिए।
ओके एंड अनदर क्वेश्चन। हाँ, और एक और जितने भी ऋषि आए हैं ये सारे अब इनके नाम से ही वो गोत्र बने थे क्या? ब्राह्मण के जो गोत्र हैं,
गोत्र तो ऋषियों के नाम से ही हैं, पर इन ऋषियों के नाम मेरे को एग्जैक्टली गोत्र की वो नहीं पता, कैसे वो स्टार्ट हुआ है सब। मेरे को पता करना पड़ेगा।
मैं कुछ बताऊं प्रभु जी इसमें?
हाँ प्लीज।
I'll just add something. So माता जी बेसिकली जैसे जस्ट फॉर एन एग्जांपल, मेरा गोत्र भरद्वाज है, दूबे लगाता हूँ मैं टाइटल। सो यूजुअली जितने भी ब्रह्मा के जो मतलब उनके अब वही होते जा रहे हैं ना, उनके नीचे जितने भी भरद्वाज हो गए, कश्यप हो गए, पुलस्त्य मुनि हो गए, जनरेशन जिसको कहा जाता है, तो जो उसमें आए तो हाँ वही गोत्र उन्हीं के हम, जैसे भरद्वाज हो गया तो कोई एक मेरा फ्रेंड है चेन्नई में, वो साउथ इंडियन है बट उसका गोत्र भरद्वाज है। सो व्हाई द क्लैन, ही इज लाइक माय ब्रदर, नॉट लाइक ही इज अ ब्रदर, बिकॉज उनसे ही ऐसा एक आया है तो भारद्वाज से। तो इसी तरह कोई कश्यप होगा, जैसे एनसीआर में मैं जानता हूँ बहुत लोगों को, कोई कश्यप है या फिर पराशर है, तो दे ऑल आर कमिंग फ्रॉम दिस डिफरेंट क्लैन्स। या मुनि से ही है, ऋषि मुनियों से
ये आए सब ऋषि मुनियों से ही हैं, पर कितने गोत्र हैं क्या है वो पूरा सिस्टम नहीं पता। मैंने भी चैट जीपीटी पे डाला था तो उससे आया गोत्र का, तो मैं पोस्ट कर देता हूँ।
एक चीज और थी प्रभु जी, इसमें आया कि कुछ उन्होंने जो थे जो ये श्लोका से ये दैत्यों को दिया, तो उसका मुझे कुछ कनेक्शन समझ नहीं आया।
दैत्य जो है, दैत्य राक्षस नहीं, दैत्य मतलब टेक्निकली वो ह्यूमन, मतलब जो अर्थली प्लेनेट पे लोग हैं हमसे ऊंचे हैं इन द क्वालिटीज, तो उनमें भी ब्राह्मण होंगे जिनको सब मिला, तो पर मतलब इंटेलिजेंस वाइज, नॉलेज वाइज दे आर वे अबव अस,
and they are from different planet.
They are from different planet, yes.
Okay. Okay. ठीक है बाबू जी।
Okay, Mata. Chalo. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri.